Continuing on with the upper extremity osteology list, we're looking at the humerus. The humerus is the arm bone. First thing we're going to do with this bone, first thing we do with any model, is put it into anatomical position. This is superior and inferior. We turn it around to see the hole on the back. This is on the posterior side. Turn this around to the front. Looking at the anterior side, let's look at the top here. The groove is going to be on the anterior. Okay. Now we know our features. The question is this a left or a right humerus? The easiest way to figure this out is to look at two different structures. We're going to look at the head of the humerus here, this ball that fits into the glenoid cavity. Okay. And we're going to look down here at this bump where the ulna is going to articulate. The ulna is going to help give us that elbow. So we know this is going to be on the posterior side, and we know that the ball is going to be, the head of the humerus is going to be medial because we want our arms attached to our body. That makes this a right humerus. Now let's look specifically at the structures. As I mentioned, this is the head of the humerus. The head is attached to the body, the shaft, by the anatomical neck. The anatomical neck is different from the surgical neck. If we were going to do surgery, we would do it right here to remove the arm. So that's called the surgical neck. The long portion of the bone going down is called the shaft. We see two little bumps down here at the bottom. The larger bump on the medial side is the coronoid fossa. The smaller bump on the lateral side is the radial fossa. And we see these bumps on the anterior. What we have over here is the trochlea, okay? And our ulna is going to go around here. On this side we have the capitulum. This is the lateral side. This bump is the lateral epicondyle. It's smaller and it's on the lateral side. The bump over here, which is larger on the medial side, is the medial epicondyle. The medial epicondyle is going to be the common origin of the flexors of the forearm. We'll see that on another video. And on this side, the lateral epicondyle is going to be the common origin of the extensors of the forearm. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves right now. Let's go back to the top here. If you notice on the top by the head, just after the neck, we have two bumps with a groove between them. This greater bump is called the greater tubercle, and the smaller one is called the lesser tubercle. There's a reason why we have these bumps. Remember, muscles pull on bones. So we have three muscles pulling on the bone here. This is where we have the insertion of our supraspinatus, infraspinatus, and teres minor. That's three of our rotator cuff muscles. Here we have the lesser tubercle because we only have one muscle pulling on it. That is the insertion point of subscapularis, which is our fourth rotator cuff muscle. Between the two, we have a groove. This groove is called the bicipital groove because the tendon of the biceps is going to go through this. It's also called the intertubercular groove. I prefer the name intertubercular groove. Inter means between, and it's between the two tubercles, intertubercular groove. If we look down here, the groove continues. It has two lips and it has a center. This is this is where we have three muscles insert. In the center we have latissimus dorsi, that arm muscle that inserts on the floor of the intertubercular groove. And then on either side we have pectoralis major and teres major inserting. One of the mnemonics that we have for remembering this is the lady, latissimus dorsi, between the two majors, pectoralis major and teres major. If we go down below this intertubercular sulcus, we see a roughened area here. This is the insertion point of the deltoid muscle. This is called the deltoid tuberosity. Okay. So let's very quickly review our structures. We had the head, surgical neck, anatomical neck, surgical neck, shaft, lateral epicondyle, medial epicondyle, trochlea, capitulum. This is the coronoid fossa on the medial side and the radial fossa on the lateral side. If we turn it around on the posterior, we have the olecranon fossa. Going back to the front, we have two bumps on the top of the head. This is the greater tubercle, the lesser tubercle. Between them, here, we have the intertubercular sulcus of the humerus. And then below that, we have this roughened area called the deltoid tuberosity. That's our humerus, the funny bone.